back to Monday.
Hello, buddy.
How you doing?
Good. You sound low.
I'm always sounding low.
There we go. You're so far away from your mark. Your mark.
Oh, I don't know what's going on here.
Hello, Sarah.
What's going on? You may have to turn up my gain a little bit here. Let's try this. Is that helping out a lot?
Oh, yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, maybe I just turned it up there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, perfect.
Now, yeah.
Okay, no, I'm just leaning in and out there.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. How's your Monday going?
Mondays are the busiest day.
Aren't they?
little sad from the Maple Leafs loss last night. That was embarrassing, but you know what? It's a good series, 2-2. We'll see what happens when they come back tomorrow.
So it's tied 2-2 for the whole
series
win. So far.
And all those jerseys saying I'm going to win. So anyway, how about you, buddy?
I mean, as you said, Mondays are the busiest day, so it's been a full day. So today we sent off the Raid slipcase off to the printer in China.
Well, I like that.
Finalized the design on that. Going over some other stuff as well that we can't talk about quite yet. It's just one of those things. Like you're working on little tiny things, and some of these little tiny things take up like 5 hours of your day. So it's
totally.
But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be about to sit down and draw. You know, last week we wrapped up the Forest Folk Volume 2 there with Dax.
Yeah, I missed the party there. How did that go?
It was pretty good. We came in. I believe we came in at 33,000 Canadian for the book, which is on par with the first one because the first one had shipping included. This one doesn't. So
that's great.
Mathematically, it's on par with the first round, which is wonderful. Lots of new readers came in at the very end, so we're excited about that, especially to kind of spread the Forest Folk word, if you will, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, and now we're just gearing up for Kookaburra.
Oh, buddy. I know you're going to spend all your time working on it.
Oh, my God.
It's because it's your own, too. But, I mean, you put that same effort into everybody's stuff. I can only imagine what you're doing for your own one. Over the top.
I'm just diving. I mean, I took the weekend to dive in and figure out stretch goals, details, all sorts of stuff. I might call in some favors. I don't know. We'll see what's what. But basically, yeah, we're gearing up. I think we've locked in the dates for, I believe it's the 24th of this month. We were going to do it next Monday, but we thought that might be a little bit crazy.
24th this month, you said?
Yeah,
it's later, long weekend.
It's the day after the long weekend, basically, yeah. We were looking into doing it this coming Monday, but there's just still a lot of stuff to do. And with just wrapping up Forest Folk, getting Raid 4 to the printer, slipcases, I got like a checklist this long of all the stuff we got to do for each of these campaigns. And, you know, we'd rather delay it by a week and make sure it's right than rushed, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, you're laughing.
Well, and I think then we're probably breaking for a bit, right? Like we did.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be 3, and then we'll check in the fall time if we're going to be ready for anything.
Exactly. This is our last Kickstarter of the spring. We're taking a break. This is our technically our second last episode of Makeshift Monday. Next week as our last episode. We'll announce our guests at the end of the episode. But next week is our last week of here. But I was thinking about this. I might do maybe an open door special edition of Make Shit.
Well, we could do a little launch thing on that Tuesday night,
or something like an hour or something like that. Maybe
just have everybody come in, or you could do your own thing, just kind of talking about it.
We'll call it Tickle Me Tuesday or something like that. I don't know.
No, no, I say no.
No. Oh man. But yeah, and so yeah, that's the month. But a lot of stuff on the plate, and excited. It's gonna be. And we roll into summer, TCAF, other conventions.
Yeah, what kind of conventions have we got lined up? I know TCAF's around the corner.
TCAF is mid-June or late June. I think it's around June 19th, I believe. And I think we're taking a bit of a holiday in July. I was considering doing Heroes Con in North Carolina.
Nice.
But I'm not sure yet. Nothing's locked in yet. And then July, I'm just looking forward to chilling a little bit. You know,
Yeah, we ramp up with TennoCon with Warframe, so it's always it gets real busy in the next month or two. So It's going to be a little chaotic here. Oh yeah, same here, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing? Got Mother's Day. Oh, okay. Oh, a little stop.
Great time. Oh, and right on.
Oh, wicked. That's awesome.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Happy belated indeed.
Happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day was this past weekend for all those great mothers out there.
Repeat the con and state, Ramon. North Carolina, I think you said, right?
Oh, I believe it was North Carolina for Heroes Comic Con. But I'm also definitely doing Chicago in August, C2E2.
When is that weekend? Man.
That is like mid-August, I believe. It's like a week or so before Fan Expo.
Something just hit my window.
Oh, Jesus. Is your wife locked out? Or the bird?
Oh, I don't know if that was a bird.
Oh, jeez. Damn.
They want it on the show. They're just like, I want to be a guest on the show.
You and your feathered friends.
Well,
sweet. That's awesome, Mama.
Oh, boom. There you go.
And then, we got the whole studio will be going to Fan Expo, obviously, in Toronto. And then there's a good portion of us, I think, going down to Comic Crossroads in Ohio.
Yep.
October. And beyond that, I got a con in Spain in September, and hopefully a little bit of holiday as well. So
Spain.
A little bit of everything.
Jealous.
But anyways, it's a busy year. It's amazing how the days slip away.
We're going to be at Fan Expo before you know it.
Oh, I know, right? I know.
Man,
but I'm excited. We got all kinds of cool things. We got books. We're working on a big giveaway poster for cons there that we've been piecing together with everybody.
Nice.
I don't know. It's going to be a blur of a summer, but I'm excited. This has been a great year so far. A busy year, but a great year. And,
well, what else are we going to do, right? Like, this is what we want to do. So
exactly.
Like, let's get to it, So
exactly.
Speaking of
let's get to it. We got the other half of the dynamic duo from Pegamoose here. This is the last thing I picked up from Mr. Troy Little and Gora Napkin, and the Tale of the Golden Macguffin, which is awesome.
Oh, that's great.
It's a great book. Awesome stuff. This is a great comic book for all ages.
The Dolphin Boys sex den.
Yeah, it is wicked. And the quality of the print job is amazing that they have on these books. Just the detail and the love you can see going into these.
Yeah, that's neat.
These books here and the style. I just love the Troy style is killer. And Troy is the man of the hour or two joining us here this evening. So looking forward to chatting. And,
let's bring that guy on then.
Yeah, let's bring him on, Mr. Troy Little. Oh, classy.
Gentlemen. Gentlemen. Pleasure to see you. Monday.
I gotta pour my drink now.
I got just a grubby water. So.
A grubby water. I'm gonna just pour a little whiskey here in a glass, or a rye, Canadian whiskey. Let's do it up here. Oh, Pinot Noir there action. I don't feel as classy anymore.
It was only $15 though. Wasn't that
thanks, Troy. Thanks for coming aboard. Cheers, buddy. Cheers. I'm excited to see you work tonight. It's already happening. Oh no, there we go.
Wi-Fi.
There we go. It's the children. He's blaming the children.
Oh God, not again. It's always their fault.
It's always their fault. When you have children, they're a good tool for blame. You can't make it to the party because the children. It's wonderful.
Yeah, they're everywhere, clinging to you like insects.
Oh man, I'm excited to see you work here tonight because you're working traditional.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how we work. I think you got a taste of that with Brenda last week. We're just pen and paper, old school.
Yeah, but you printed out blue lines though.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Very cool.
It's inking to do, so I get my little brushes ready there. Ready to go.
And what are you working on?
Speaking of that, but before we get there, there's the finished cover there that Brenda started.
Oh my God! From last week, that is amazing. And that's with marker. She did it with marker.
Sketch cover.
Wow.
Just a sketch cover, right?
Wow. No, it looks like it's a print. It looks like it's a printed
cover. That's amazing.
She doesn't know how to
That is
stop.
amazing.
Turned out pretty good.
Pretty good is an understatement. And that's all done with Copics?
She's not bad. Yeah, Copics and just
wow.
markers.
Is that like is that a commission for somebody or?
Well, we were thinking of doing all these little sketch covers for part of our, like, to try and get the dead zone in our Kickstarter moving a little bit. We've done this before where we've just tried to get people to buy or bid on sketch covers, and we just kind of get that rolled into the Kickstarter. And it's been really dead this week so far. We just started today, but it hasn't happened a lot.
Are you guys in?
That might be one of them.
Are you guys in week 3 of the Kickstarter?
Oh, we're down. Yeah, we're down
9 days.
A week and a bit.
So you're
to go.
like at the end of that dreaded
19th.
third week lull, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, on Monday wasn't a whole lot happening today. So we tried to find some way to get some excitement about it, and we were doing sketch covers just here and there and kind of stockpiling them so that we could kind of do a little rollout, maybe.
No, it's a great idea.
Get a little bump here or there through it.
Oh, for sure.
I supported it after the show last week, so
nice.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
threw in my support.
I mean, I was just
sharing
this
much.
early on, man, and this is like the quality you guys put into the books is fantastic, and just the quality of the paper.
It's just one of those things we really wanted to make sure that the quality was really good on our projects.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend this much time making a book, right?
Exactly.
You want to give it its best presentation.
Exactly. No, this is just
how long did that book take you to make, you think? Like start to finish, drawing, inking, coloring, everything.
It was a poking away project for like 7 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you don't make me feel so bad about Arden. That's great.
Eric, you got 30 years there.
What? 25 at best.
Oh, man. And this was printed in was it Friesens in Canada?
Yeah, Friesens in Winnipeg.
Yeah. No, they do great work.
Yeah, it's got a nice feel to it. Eh? It's got a nice scuff-resistant finish and everything on it.
That soft touch. Oh,
it's nice.
I can't put it down. Yeah, we just got our proofs for Mr. Sheldon Carter's second run book.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
Look at that.
A little brighter, I see.
A little brighter, yeah. We could actually see his face this time around, and we made his name a little more pingy this time. So, yeah.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Live and learn.
Yeah, it's definitely been a process of learning how to do this stuff and trial and error.
Now, did you when you talk to the printer about like these books and the way you want to do them, do you kind of send them samples of like books, or do they send you samples, or are you just kind of going like, what do you got like for finishes or spots or?
Friesens was pretty good. I think they do a lot of like yearbooks and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm not sure comic books are like their big thing. And I forget who we turned us on to them, but they sent us a really great package. It had all different paper samples in it, stocks and different finishes and stuff like that. So it's been a really great kind of reference to kind of go back and
nice,
feel the page and know what it's going to feel like.
Yeah. Actually, I should talk to one of my printers about that because I have none of those. I have one from one printer, but not from the main printer I use, which is kind of weird. I'm often just guessing based on experience, which is not always the best. You don't want surprises when you're dropping $20K on something,
Are they pretty reasonable?
Yeah, for sure.
They're in Winnipeg, you said, right? They're pretty reasonable.
They're in Winnipeg, and you're paying a premium for, I think, if you're getting your stuff printed overseas, we're probably paying about double or triple that. So
probably about a little bit close.
Probably
to double for sure.
Yeah, double.
Maybe depending on the printer, maybe close to triple. But you're also, I was just talking to some actual colleagues today, and shipping has doubled from China right now. So they're still delivering, but I think a buddy of mine, where last year he spent $9,000 on shipping his books from China, it's $18,000 this year. So it's just like,
oh, come on, man.
I see.
So you're like, it's kind of like you're like, I don't know, like, and then you got whatever border tariffs you got and all that stuff. So sometimes I'm like, you know what? Let's keep it local, support the economy here.
Yeah.
I'd rather it stay here, but like the prices,
Yeah, I mean, we've gone to China for a few things just that we can't do here. because they're just too expensive here. Like slipcases, for example, is one thing we've tried to do here. I priced them out, and we would have had to have sold every slipcase edition for $100 just to make our money back. But it's cool. I mean, compared to 15 years ago, it's way cheaper now than it was back then, which is makes the hurdles a little bit easier to jump, basically.
Yeah, I guess
the guys have been really easy to work with, really communicative, and I think one of the things that I really liked about it is, I mean, they are in Canada, they can get their books to us really quickly. So when we found out we were going to be part of TCAF, we were like, can we run this Kickstarter fast enough, basically? Just finish this book ASAP and run the Kickstarter ASAP and get these books printed in time. And so we were talking with them, and there's paper shortages, of course. But they managed to find some paper for us that they could lock down and make sure that our books would be ready in time, so we would actually have them to debut at TCAF as well.
Wow.
Yes. So that's definitely an asset right there for printing in Canada.
No, for sure. Yeah, and it's one of the same reasons we've looked at here as well, because we were just talking to the printer today, and they're booked up they're not taking any more books on till January of next year right now. So we were just like, wow, okay, thank God we stuck the two in that we needed to so far, and everything else is going to be fulfilling in 2023 is what it looks like.
That's bananas, man.
Yeah, but people are reading more. People are, paper got shifted around to making cardboard boxes for Amazon instead of printing books, and
I heard
things got a little crazy this year.
So, like, how does that bode for your Kookaburra stuff, Ramon?
I mean, we're probably going to be looking to fulfill in January, like I said. Sometimes you could get on the printer's queue just to in hopes that if a space opens up or a cancellation happens, you can kind of weasel your way in. But I don't think it's stuff you want to rely on for that. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, you can't plan around that, really.
No. So really, realistically, we're looking for Kookaburra to fulfill in the new year, which is fine. It's like I'd like to do it sooner, but you work with what the timeline you got, right? So
totally.
Because if you're fulfilled, like if we even locked it in for say November, December, you're maybe getting the books out for Christmas or whatever, but then you're just holding on to a bunch of books for no shows till March anyways.
Yep.
Right.
So,
So
we'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens anyways.
All right. Well, let's what's everybody working on tonight?
I got my same thing I've been working on.
The same. It's the Kookaburra same. That's awesome.
I thought it would be different, but I'd be like, nope. I actually ended up taking the weekend off. Did some pruning of trees and different things. So
yeah, I was in my yard as well. So
this is my thing. How about yourself?
What are you working in Were you working in Photoshop on this? Are you?
This one I inked and clip, and then I do the coloring in Photoshop because I'm not the biggest fan of the Photoshop. The clip coloring interface.
Yeah.
So
I remember this project from a long time ago. So maybe you can kind of get me up to speed on what happened there, because it was like early web, wasn't it?
Yeah. So basically, back in the early 2000s, like 2007, I think we launched Transmission X, which was our basically a webcomic initiative back then, where we as professionals started doing indie stuff basically online, and we went strong for about 3 years, and then around 2011 everybody kind of things kind of fractured. People's careers started to take off. Workflow, it became a little bit more consistent, the updates, and things unfortunately just kind of, like I said, dissipated. And myself, my career kind of took off more in the mainstream comics realm, where I was getting work on like Marvel's X-Men and different things, and which was great. I loved it, but at the same time, it really made me put all my stuff on the back burner, really. I tried to get back into Kookaburra back around, I think it was 2012 or so, 2013. I did it for a little bit, and just like I said, the constant barrage of work, and then buying a house, and adult responsibilities, all this stuff. It just kind of became harder and harder to maintain a weekly webcomic. And I then tried a third time. It was the January 1st of 2020, and then the pandemic hit. And that just totally railroaded me in a different way, because I had to deal with a lot of other, because Raid here had just opened up. It really hit us hard financially, because, as a place based upon, a shared workspace where people come in and work, and during a pandemic when everybody's quarantining, that's not really happening, right? So while we had a lot of great members who kept on paying, we lost a lot of members, and it became a very difficult time. So I had to really refocus and make sure we were able to survive the pandemic, and so that kind of became my main focus. We opened up a gallery cafe to help finance ourselves over.
That sounds really cool.
It was great. I loved it, but it just became a full-time job in doing that kind of stuff. So for months, I didn't even draw. Like, I just basically was renovating and doing things, and while fun, it just once again, you're railroaded, right? So. Right. This is a story I've always loved doing. It's it's weird to go back to something you did over a decade ago, but I know what the story is in my head. I know what the ending is. It's always been there, and it's something I want to finish and get out there, because I think it's a fun little escapist, Alice in Wonderland, Little Nemo in Slumberland kind of story, right? So I just want to get it out there and hopefully finds a new audience. I figure the audience of 2007 is about, they're either, adults with kids. Maybe they'll introduce it to their families. Who knows? Maybe some fans will come back and be interested again. It's a gamble.
How far did you get? Yeah, how far did you get when you were doing it?
Before my last update, I think it was page 190 or something like that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so I have a body of stuff out there. So I always imagine the story being around 600 pages, based on just like my projections, based on my script I have.
So this would be a book one, will it?
Exactly, yeah. So originally I was going to do 3 books at not 600 pages. It was about 800 pages. I was originally going to do about 3 books at about 2 to 250 pages each. But now I think I'm going to truncate them a little bit, make them a little bit smaller, easier to print for me financially, and do about 5 or 6 editions at about 150 pages or so. I'm going to add some pages in, clean up the story from the web, and make it where I always pictured it in a book, really.
Did you have to do a lot of reformatting now because it's going from web to page, or did you keep that in mind when you started designing?
No, I always did it for for print. So whenever I do all my webcomics are actually drawn in CMYK at print resolution, and then I convert them for the web, because I see the web. It is a great way to get your stuff out there, but I love books. I love that tactile experience, and that's something I've always wanted for this one. I designed it on a square, so you have the page that's not meant for the web. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to actually, bringing it hopefully to a whole new audience, really, and seeing how it goes from there.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, it's funny, how the personal projects always take a back seat and can get railroaded for a lot of years. I was working on one too that it's like 10 years old that I just started working on during the pandemic. Brenda was doing an Agretzko for Oni, and so while she was holding down the fort here, I dug out the old script and started actually working on it.
Oh, nice.
Now, that went great up until this year when I had to actually start taking paying work again and give Brenda a break. But I got 130 pages done of it. So
that's amazing.
It's going to be about 180 pages when it's all done.
Can you tell us a bit more about this, or is it rather?
Yeah, no, I think I think Rob's got a few pages there. It's a project called The Illusion of Life.
Oh, okay.
Something I came up with, like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I wrote a big draft of it, and then I started drawing it, and then trashed it. Like I do most of my projects, the first few pages get trashed,
Yeah.
and then redone. But yeah, it's a story of this animator in 1985. It's just a grizzled old cranky animator. No understanding that I came from working in animation around the time I wrote this, and I was pretty bitter about it. So it kind of goes back and tells his story of how he came to be the person he was, I guess. So,
okay.
Yeah, through a few iterations, but I finally got it locked down to a version that I think is working for me.
Nice.
So I'm doing it black and white, but then I want to go back and color the whole damn book, so that's just going to take even longer.
Oh, wow. I mean, you could always do a print edition in black and white, and then, do a later edition in color if it was something you want to get out in a more timely fashion. But yeah, I was looking at these samples when you sent them over, and is that you actually got the book on the new book on your desktop already?
Well, this is just a little preview we had here.
Oh, okay, proof. Okay.
Placeholder. Yeah, a little
placeholder.
Conveniently placed under the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, this.
Wow,
this thing.
How did that get there? What's this about?
Yeah, but I love your character stylizations, man. The character stylizations are wonderful.
Yeah, they're great.
It was really fun contrasting both my style and Brenda's style, for the. Mm-hmm. So you got her cover and you got my cover there versions.
Yeah, because it's a flip book as well, so you both get your own cover. Too,
yeah,
right?
it's gonna be So you read it one way and then flip it the other way to read the other half of the story.
No, as we were mentioning to Brenda, I'm curious to see how you guys integrate, because I think I saw the center spread, which kind of merges with the two arts or something like that, if I recall. So,
yeah, it blends over the 2 pages.
Yeah, so that's pretty
you have to
cool.
flip the book.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool. Like we got a really cool idea that just really worked in both of our styles. We just kind of did what we wanted to do, but it syncs up so well. Like I can't wait to get this book out to people because I'm really proud of it.
No, that's awesome.
And I think it's one of those things that's easier to boast about your own work because Brenda's in it, and so I get to boast about her being in it and say how much I like her half, and she gets to do that for me without taking.
You guys don't look like you're ego stroking. You're just like, no, I'm just her work is great.
Her half's better. Oh, his half's better.
I like it. It works out. Oh
yeah, it's going good.
I know we talked to Brenda about the idea of going to create her own stuff, and I know she mentioned it's just a way to get your own stuff out there quicker without having to jump through any publishers' kind of hoops. And,
definitely.
Do you get more of a satisfaction doing that, or?
100%. I just started out self-publishing. I was pretty much just Dave Sim's school and Jeff Smith's school of but 15 years too late, so I'm trying to do what they were doing in the 80s.
I don't think it's too late. No, because I'm not sure if you have it, but I have the Dave Sim, how to self-publish.
I've read it cover to cover so many times,
and I have a few other ones, and unfortunately, I know there were times when I tried to do this back in the early 2000s, and it was just so cost prohibitive,
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're, because I recently watched a documentary in which one of the people they chatted with was Jeff Smith, and he said how much of a grind it was to get Bone out there under his own Cartoon Books label and push the envelope and do different things like that, as well as making sure he could afford to pay his monthly bills and whatever and
mm-hmm.
And obviously, depending where you live, those can skyrocket as well, right? And keep you a little bit overwhelmed. So I think now with things like Patreon and Kickstarter, Indiegogo, I think it's a little bit more feasible for the indie creatives to get their own work out there and actually reach their audience, without breaking the bank, without taking, Jeff Smith days, you got to bank it yourself. Now it's well, let's see, put it out there. People like it. it's like a pre-order for your book, right?
Oh, it's been a game changer for us. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so,
I had 2 books of Angora Napkin out with IDW, and I made more money with that book that you have, just doing it myself through Kickstarter.
Well, that's it, right? Like I was talking with a creator the other day, and he's older than myself, and he's worked in the comic industry since the 80s, and he's had multiple books out with a publisher over the years. And during our conversation, I was surprised and utterly saddened to hear that when he said that he had never earned a royalty on any of his books through said publisher. And this is a guy, like I said, who's been doing books since the 80s, who has characters that are part of the cultural tapestry, and to hear that not one of his books, like he obviously gets an advance on the book to create the book, but not one has earned a royalty. And I was just like, wow. And the fact that, like, just you saying that yourself there, the fact that, whether it's you or like a Carrie Nord or Carl Kerschel or Andy Belanger, one of all our friends who are doing these great projects and are probably walking away with enough money to then draw the next volume or iteration of the book, right, and keep that thing rolling forward. That's amazing to me. That's like, I'm like, it's like, I know you said 15 years too late, and I kind of feel the same way sometimes, where it's like I feel like I'm lagging behind, but unfortunately the opportunities weren't there 15 years ago to do.
Yeah, that's kind of when I started. I got a Zurich grant for my first book.
Oh, nice! I remember
That's
those.
how old that was.
Yeah, they don't do those anymore.
No, they're unfortunately not.
No, So.
But that got me started with the self-publishing bug, and always wanted to get back to it. So that's kind of just where I came from. So trying to find projects in the mainstream to do has been challenging, but I've been lucky too, because a few good projects landed in my lap that actually I was a good fit for. But by and large, if somebody asked me to draw a superhero comic or Transformers, I wouldn't do it. I'd just be afraid. Like, oh God, there's no way I could hit a monthly deadline and do that, or even enjoy it. Like, it just wouldn't be fun. And that's kind of a little bit of my, I guess, goal now, is to make sure that I'm having fun with what I'm doing. So. Well,
yeah, eventually a monthly deadline is a lot of work. That's why they divide everything up, right? Inker, colorist, all that stuff. So yeah, it's.
What are you preparing to ink there? Can you show it to camera?
Oh, can you see that there at all?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy.
There we go.
So you got
nice.
A little berserker dude up here. I thought I was chugging from a barrel of beer.
And these are pencils?
This is blue lined up. So I did digital
these are
digital
tight
there in Procreate. Yeah, I know. Every time somebody looks at my pencils, they're like, "Well, you finished the page." I'm like, "No, actually, I have to do it all over again." That's just the pencils.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunately one of those dumb things I do. I end up drawing the same thing 100 times just because I can't.
I'd be
great though.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Thanks. This is a little, I want to say secret project, but I mean, you guys might know about it, but it's secret, so I can't say too much.
Are you,
of our good friend Word Burglar, Word Burglar?
Oh yeah, I heard he was doing a few things. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so a little secret project with Word Burglar.
Nice, yeah. One of the guys in the studio was just doing a cover for his CD or collection.
Ergonomics, I believe it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, we're fans of the Bergie here.
Yeah, no, he's awesome.
Yeah, such a good guy.
And you're inking there with is it like a sable brush?
Raphael.
Yes,
real.
Nice.
Yeah, I was using Winsor & Newton, but I just keep putting it back and grabbing my Raphael until I just decided I'm going to be a Raphael guy now, I guess.
Yeah. They're good brushes. I mean, I think everybody just leans into whatever works for them, right?
Yeah, for sure.
At the end
I
of
just
the
find
day.
it's got good feel to it.
Well, makes total sense.
Well, and you're just doing your kookaburra, Ramon. You gonna have something new for next week, you think, or?
Oh yeah, I wanted to have this done already, but says the guy, are you making fun of me because you're probably working on the same thing as last week?
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you. I'm not making fun of you. I'm inquiring.
I'm yes. I hope to have this. I had hoped to have this done already, but I'll be getting it done hopefully this week, and next week I'll be definitely jumping onto something different. Whether it's Kookaburra related or something else, I'm not sure. But for now, we're doing a little bit of coloring today.
I like it. I like it a lot.
You know, it's also getting back into how I used to color this comic, which is a little bit different than how I, colored anything else. So it's kind of almost relearning a language from a decade ago.
I really enjoyed the colors on it. Like when I first discovered that, I thought it was gorgeous. So I'm really excited to see that it's actually be coming out as a print book, because as much as webcomics are great, I just don't want to read them. I want to read books.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I'm looking forward to making sure I can, tackle all this stuff and actually reproduce it and make it look as good as possible in print as well. So I think that's the other reason why I work in CMYK, because I'm like, I want to make sure everything I put down can actually work in print. So I even color my coloring table on my Photoshop is a custom palette based on the 1970s Rubylith from DC Comics. So it's all crazy old school, but it works for me. It's a nice starting point.
Oh, nice. Rubylith.
What's Eric doing here?
These days.
This is the coolest car I've ever drawn.
Is this Arden?
Yeah.
There are cars in Arden?
Don't you worry about it. This is in the tech city. There's all kinds of wild stuff here.
I like it because this is a comic I've only ever seen dragons and things, and now we have.
Oh, they're there. Don't worry.
What looks like a Mustang.
They're there. It's gonna be all kinds of crazy shit. So.
Oh my god, this is hilarious.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be.
You be encouraging me, Ramon.
I'm encouraging you.
Yeah.
Or am I causing trouble?
Both.
Oh man.
What's the next? So this is a small thing. Is there something bigger on the horizon, Troy?
I've got a day job gig right now, but again, it's that NDA stuff, so I wish I could talk about it. But
is most of your work, without revealing your NDA, is mostly comic stuff, or do you work in animation still?
No, I did my best to I decided a few years ago I was working on. And I'm sorry if anyone has children. I worked on Paw Patrol as a storyboard artist.
Okay.
Forgive me. It was miserable and I hated it. So I quit and I had no job. I just quit. I couldn't do it. So at the time, what I did have was a bit of a connection with IDW because they published a few of my books, my creator-owned books.
Okay, yeah.
And so I just said, it was a shot in the dark. I can't draw Transformers and G.I. Joe, but have you got anything that I can draw, that would fit the bill for a cartoonist? Mm-hmm. And I just got really lucky because they had just gotten the license for Cartoon Network comics.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So they said, would you be interested in drawing the Powerpuff Girls?
Oh, that's awesome.
And I jumped on that, in the way like an indie comics guy would, and I said, can I draw it? Can I letter it? Can I color it? Can I do everything? And they're like,
do everything.
Can I do everything?
Can I everything?
Can I everything it? And they're like, you've never worked in monthly comics before. This will leave you alive. And I had a bit of, you watch me. And that lasted about one issue. But they did let me write it. They did let me draw it. They did let me do a lot of the lettering, wherever I could draw hand lettering on it for effects and stuff. And, get away with as much as I could get away with within the context of a monthly.
Yeah. I mean, a monthly is a lot of work. So, if you can do as much as you can like that, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was good to just satisfy my need to control, I guess.
I wonder if that's why a lot of us go into comics or illustration, is that need to have every aspect of our vision kind of under our control.
Says the guy who's got Rubylith coloring from DC.
I know, right?
In the 90s. Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, I love being in control. That's.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Hey man, sometimes
it's good though. You need that.
You gotta like. I know I get made fun of for my OCD a lot, and
we all got that. Yeah.
But you know, it's just I just want it to be the best thing I can, and you know, like if I find the right teammates to help me along, I'm glad to bring in people. But at the same time, I feel like comics especially are such a personal endeavor,
right?
Especially when you're working on your own stuff.
Yep.
That it's hard to let go of certain aspects because this is something that's sitting in your head all the time, right? And even Eric, like you stated that, like up until you met Sheldon, this was something that was only you ever worked on, you know, and it's hard to let that go.
Totally,
you know.
It was good though, and it was very freeing in a lot of ways. But I think I feel like everyone would do it if they found.
Well, that's what I mean. You got to find the right teammate, basically, right?
Like, because Troy, you have your wife there, so that's kind of a good teammate there. That worked out.
Oh, very well, yes.
So it's like, you know, I'm not going to marry Sheldon, but if he asks,
you might have to talk to your wife. You'd be like, honey, Sheldon wants to go all the way.
So things have changed. Yeah. Anyway. But that's huge, like, because it's definitely given my whole project a big kind of punch in the arm to get going. So
for sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
so the licensed stuff for me was Powerpuff Girls, and then oddly enough, that jumped to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which was a very weird switch for me.
Great.
But I mean, how does that go? Get the guy from Powerpuff Girls to do Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas adaptation.
That's fantastic. I love that. I love that film. One of my favorite films.
It's such a good movie. It's such a good book. It's everything about it is just like a dream job.
It took too much.
So that's like one of those things where I've been lucky. I dove head first into like mainstream comics kind of thing, and I got some really cool projects from that. Most recently, just working on the Dungeons and Dragons Rick and Morty with Jim Zub. So
that's amazing.
The old Zub who just made the trip across Canada with COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
Brenda was his table neighbor the whole show too. Eh?
Oh no way!
She sat right next to him.
Is she fine?
She's okay. Yeah.
Okay,
no, our son had gotten COVID there the week before she left, so we went into our whole house went into lockdown, and we quarantined the little guy, which was like the best week of his life because it's just unlimited TV, food delivered to you, video games 24/7.
Mm-hmm. He's like,
and
what?
Yeah, you have to just stay in this room and watch TV and play games.
I will suffer through it, Mom and Dad. I will suffer through it.
Yeah, for us, he did. Yeah, so now it's weaning him off it. It's like maybe could crack cocaine, and now you're like telling him, no, you have to go play outside.
Yeah, it's like, come on. I think I still have COVID.
I think COVID was the best.
Inside was amazing.
Oh man,
I love seeing people ink because I don't do it, and I love it.
Oh, it's so fun.
I love
it. It's just like my favorite part of the process, as much as like so much of the brain power goes into like laying out the page and figuring out the design and all that stuff. And this is the part where I can actually like enjoy, just relax and make the lines look good.
When I used to ink, I don't find this with digital inking as much, but with traditional, I found I used to go into almost like a Zen state, where you just kind of get in this flow, and you're just dipping your pen and working it, and just miss that so much.
Yeah, I miss that too, but that was mostly because I got kids now, so they just take me out of it, and I don't even try anymore. I just get away with what I can. Which is actually nice having like a makeshift Monday here because it means I have to stay up late while they're in bed and actually do something. So this is good for me.
Yeah, how is the work-life balance? Figured it out? Do you? You both have the same gigs, right, in a way. So
well, we figured out and this is part of the thing with the pandemic, right? Is we both can't do this job at the same time on a monthly and raise a family during COVID when the kids are locked in the house. So one of us, for the last couple of years, it was me, held down the fort more or less while Brenda was doing the Agretzko books. Because she's like me. She's like, I want to write it, draw it, color it, letter it. And basically let her do that as well, except she did the whole thing as opposed to I had to hire somebody. But it worked out okay because I did find time where I could pick away and start that project of mine, The Illusion of Life there. So thinking I got 130 pages inked in a year in my spare time sort of thing while doing all that.
That's amazing.
Was pretty great. So
yeah,
we find a good way of kind of tagging out. She was definitely getting a little burnout and I think deserved a break, rightfully so. So
she has
I found some projects to pay the bills. Yeah.
She has a deep understanding of what you're going through, right?
Oh, yeah.
All the work done and stuff and what you're doing.
Well, it's amazing
there's
that you
no
can do
question
that kind of
why
team scenario that, you know, that one can, you know, it's like one taps out, one taps in, and then you got this amazing, you know, you do a little bit of corporate, you do a little bit of creator owned.
Yep.
It's that's a wonderful setup, to be honest.
It's pretty ideal. It's pretty damn
a little
ideal.
jealous, I'm going to be honest with you.
She's mine, I'm sorry.
No, that's wonderful. Like, 'cause that's the hardest thing I find. You know, you know, there's the joy of making your passion a career, but I think people forget that you can get burnt out. You know, doing something, even if it's your passion, day in and day out, because it's a lot of work, basically.
It is a lot of work, yeah. And I guess the nice thing too, you know, like she totally understands. You know.
Yeah.
We both understand why we're sitting here, like on weekends and Friday nights and Saturday nights, we're drawing. You know.
Yeah.
It's not like why are you ignoring me?
Yeah. No, like I've had many relationships over the years. Like, why are you always working? It's like, yeah, you are, but sometimes you're also like, but yeah, I'm working on stuff I love. So it's like it doesn't feel like work. You're just kind of in this flow state, and you're engaged. Yeah. You're in there deep, and you want to create. You know.
Absolutely.
And that's the hard part to kind of translate sometimes to people.
So we lucked out big time.
No,
I don't
that's
know
awesome.
how that
Now,
happened. But...
Are you both native from Prince Edward Island?
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds? The other comic artist here that happens to be female was interested in me, so that's pretty good odds. I was lucky otherwise.
Oh yeah, there are quite a few creators out on that little island.
Well, and, you know, Sandy Carruthers is here, but I'm not sure I'm his type either.
Did you guys meet in school, or were you like longtime friends, or?
We worked at an animation studio that was here for a brief period of time.
Oh, interesting.
I was a background animation supervisor for some CBC show.
Oh, crazy.
And I was her boss.
Okay.
But it was a big it was a big studio filled with lovely people, and pretty much everyone that worked there married somebody else from the studio.
Oh my God,
so
that's
it was
hilarious.
Very lovely, love-filled studio.
Weddings are very familiar, I guess, right? Like all the guests.
All the artists in PEI were in that one studio, I guess.
That's amazing.
They met one another. So it worked out. I mean,
is there a big arts community in PEI? Like that's like for like work-wise, I mean, or is that just kind of like something that happened briefly? The animation studio.
There's a lot of depends, you know, like there's a lot of video game companies and stuff kind of in the background around here because there's always tax credits, right? That funnel people out. So like the Simpsons Tap Out game that was popular a few years ago was made here in Charlottetown.
Oh, okay.
And a few other things, some Star Wars games. They used to have an EA building downtown.
Interesting. Okay.
But you know, not a whole lot. A lot of music and stuff like that. A lot of East Coast music is what we're kind of known for. But
yeah.
There's some comics. There's a lot more comic stuff than there was when I was growing up here. That's for sure. A lot more people into comics, making comics. We have our own little Comic Con now, IEX. It happens.
Yeah, Brenda was mentioning that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
It's new. It's great.
We have to go out there, Ramon. We have to do a little raid trip out there.
Yeah, I mean, last time I was out in Nova Scotia, I wanted to do a bit of a road trip. So I was in not Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and I wanted to actually make my way out there, but weather and time kind of prevented me from doing so. But I would love to actually make my way out there, and or even the whole studio, like you're saying, Eric, just do like a road trip, stop in Halifax, maybe
go to Montreal
or whatever it is.
Drive on down.
We'll call it the East Coast raid tour.
It's such a small place too. A couple of years ago, one day, as I want to do when we were allowed to do it, I would be at a coffee shop working,
Yeah.
and so I was just sitting there, and I'm looking out the window, and Chip Zdarsky walks by,
Oh yeah. That's
and I
hilarious.
looked at him, and he looked at me, and then he like circled back around. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "What are you doing here?" So, yeah, it's funny.
I think you
Small
had more
place.
right to be there.
I did, but you know, he was accusing me of things, jumping to conclusions and such.
I know he's wont to do that.
That's-
Yeah, I think he's toying with the idea of moving out west. I think.
Oh, the other direction. Everybody's coming this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I'm a bigger East Coast fan than I am a West Coast fan, but
Well, I'm hitting PEI this summer and Nova Scotia, so we'll see. But I'm definitely a West Coast fan so far, so
Knock on our door when you're in town.
we'll see, right? So
There could be a lobster in it for you.
Oh, there you go.
shit.
There's a win.
Yeah, I can definitely see what the crew's saying. Yeah, we're staying in Charlottetown, so, or Charlottetown. How do you say it? What's the right way?
Charlottetown. Yeah, that's where we live. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, if we don't,
Brenda was at a BronyCon, a My Little PonyCon in Germany one time, and that's a story and a half. But a couple of the organizers came to PEI to visit us one time. We treated them to lobster. They'd never had lobster before.
oh wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that
man.
was fun.
Getting excited about that.
That's one of my favorite memories of going out east was actually, and I have many because I've been out there quite a few times. But the last time was Nick Bradshaw hosts his con up in Moncton.
Oh yes,
I'm blanking on the name of the show right now.
East Coast Comic Expo.
Yeah, that's it. And he had us over to his mother's house for dinner, and she just literally walked down this gangway to a boat that just pulled up with fresh lobster and just like literally bought it off the boat, and it was like 20 feet later it was in the pot cooking, and
Yep.
we had a wonderful dinner. That he was such a wonderful host, him and his family.
Nick's the
it was-
best. Nick
it
and
was
Danica are
Oh yeah,
amazing.
no, that guy's got the biggest heart in
Yep.
comics. He's amazing. But yeah, and I miss. It's been a good several years because of the pandemic, especially just since I've been there, and I'm looking forward to get out there myself. I might actually be there the week after Eric's there. I've been toying, trying to.
You're not coming the week I'm there, eh?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it times out because Stephanie, my girlfriend, just is going to Ibiza with her sister, and it's the mid-June, so it would be, I think, too soon after her holiday. So there might be some crossover. I don't know. We'll see. But if we can pull it off, I'll definitely be up there at the same time. But if not, maybe we'll cross over by a day or two, anyways.
Oh, that'd be-
Well, you guys, we're always here, so knock on our
Oh,
door.
no, I'd love to.
love it. Come on, knock on my door.
It's like Three's Company.
Roper or Furley?
Oh, totally Furley. I was always a Furley guy.
Really, Roper's so great. I love Mr. Roper.
I mean, him and his wife were a whole different dynamic, and you
Yeah.
kind of I think you appreciate them more as an adult. I think Furley
As a
was
kid,
had more physical humor to him, right?
yes.
Whereas Mr. Roper was a little bit more kind of like wink, wink, nod, nudge, nudge, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
half,
like
our,
the new.
half our audience is probably, what the fuck are they talking about? I don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Well, so people like have their like, are you a Beatles or a Stones man? That was where you Roper or a Furley.
I don't even remember. I remember Mr. Roper. I don't remember the other one.
Mr. Furley, he was like, he'd always do like the, he'd be like, the skinny
Don
Don
Knotts.
Knotts, yeah. He was like a staple of the 70s and early 80s in so many
Yeah.
programs. No, sir. That was a great show.
I don't know if a lot of people watch this would even know this show.
I know, that's what I was just saying.
That's right, yeah.
I'm sure Brenda has no idea what I'm talking about right
Have
now.
you actually, do either of you know Cheeks Galloway?
I love his art.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally.
So he's actually been watching. He's been buying DVD sets of all these old '80s comedy sitcoms and melodramas. So like every time he posts something, it's like last week he posted about Three's Company. And like before that, it was like Simon and Simon and like, oh God, well, Riptide, A-Team. And I'm like,
Chips. You gotta watch Chips.
yeah, Chips. Like all these shows, I'm like, I watched every one of
Airwolf,
these.
Knight Rider.
Airwolf. Oh my God.
Exactly it. So exactly it. It's hilarious.
Automan.
I loved Automan. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I was
good.
totally tripping on Tron. So anything that would glow in the dark when I was a kid was the best.
So true. Oh, that's so funny. Just like the same diet of whatever.
Half dozen channels we could get.
Yeah, I often wonder if that's like a thing that's being lost because of streaming, because there's so much programming now. There's less of a chance that people are watching the same thing at the same time these days, unless you binge it like right when it comes out or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because I remember like there was like I think the last thing I remember watching in such a dedicated manner was Mad Men and Lost. Those were probably my two last big.
Oh yeah, I watched all that. That's good shit.
You know, and like I remember like
Lost.
even with Lost, X-Files was another big one that I watched, but it was like, you know, X-Files was before cell phones, so I'd be like, phone would go off the receiver so no one could get a hold of me. I'd be like, and if you know if you tried, you'd get like an earful from me, you know.
I was a big Lost fan like that too, and there hasn't been a whole lot of shows that's kind of got me that same way as that one.
No, it even Lost, despite its like horrendous, you know, or not, maybe lackluster is a better word, ending, or direction, I guess, if you will. It still held me there. Like I was still there
still
every
loved
week.
it. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I
I enjoyed so much of the ride that I can't fault the ending to say it ruined everything, you know?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed that ride, just tuning
Like
in every week.
Battlestar Galactica was good in that way. I like that.
Yep.
show.
Yeah.
That was another
That had a
good one.
little bit
Yeah.
of
That was good.
the characters.
Yeah. That's what I got into afterwards, because I didn't have it on my regular channel, but yeah, it definitely was there something after I watched I could put down.
Well, I guess
I watch a lot now.
The Band of Brothers was really great for.
Band of Brothers is awesome. Yeah.
But that's not like a seasonal show, I guess, right?
That was a miniseries.
But that was super.
Yeah, that was amazing. I didn't get into the Pacific Rim one as much.
No, I tried, but I was like, nope, it's not.
But yeah, Band of Brothers was phenomenal.
I find it weird with the streaming services because there's like if I was a kid and I had unlimited cartoons, I would never do anything. And I kind of watch. That's what my kids do now is nothing because they have unlimited cartoons.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, that would have been my dream.
It was pretty
now that I'm a
dangerous.
parent, how do I feel about that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess when we were kids, it was like maybe Saturday mornings was our kind of, you know, but if you got up too late, you missed half the episodes of whatever you might be watching or whatever.
I've had a permanent chip on my shoulder about Star Trek since I was a kid because that's when People shows came on, and People shows ruined cartoons, and Star Trek was the reason because it came right on after Looney Tunes, and so like 1 o'clock, People shows were on. I'm like, damn it, TV's over.
People shows.
People shows.
That's awesome.
Like we watched a lot of MASH.
Oh my God, MASH. That was like the bane of my existence because it was that show that was on as a kid that I did not understand at all. But I was like, why is this war show on every channel? It was like that or Beachcombers was like on every channel. You know, and only Canadians will understand Beachcombers. But
Littlest Hobo.
Littlest Hobo was fair game all the time. Oh, man.
Good shit.
The work-life balance. You're right, Sarah. There is no work-life balance. Now it's
So you went to. It says you. So I read that you went to Sheridan for illustration, but then you ended up in animation.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to Sheridan thinking I would get a basis in illustration, then go back and take animation because I've always just loved cartoons, like Looney Tunes, the old Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
In particular were just everything to me. And the comics I'd read all like Sergio Aragonés and Cracked and stuff.
God,
so I just wanted the cartoony stuff. I did the course, the 3-year course, and then ended up moving back to PEI and got stuck here for a few years before I made my way back to Ottawa. And that there's some animation studios there. And I never worked in animation, but I thought, well, I can draw a bit. Maybe I can weasel my way in. And that's kind of basically what I did. I found a studio that was in need of some background artists, and
Okay.
so I could draw some backgrounds for Frank and the Turtle.
Were
And
you?
did
What year
that for
were
a
you
lot
at?
of years.
What year were you at Sheraton?
91 to 94, I think.
Oh,
Something like that.
But they're 96 to 99. I
so
think.
Oh, yeah.
you might have been 91 to 94.
So I was at the Brampton campus, and then it moved to the Oakville campus. So that was a switch over year for.
Okay, so you must have been a year ahead of me then, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Because I did the first year. My first year was the first year they were at the Oakville campus, but I did my
Okay.
interview at the Brampton campus.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you might have been. We might have been at the school at the same time. Maybe, who knows?
We sounds like we probably were. Yeah.
So I swear I graduated. I want to say 95, but I could be wrong on that. It becomes a memory blur after a while.
Right.
But well, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Well, I ended up
Yeah.
spending a lot of years working in animation after that, and yeah, that I just kind of taught myself how to do that stuff, like working in it. Figured it. The more I knew, the more employed I'd stay.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I did a lot of different jobs in that industry for a lot of years.
Yeah, I went to animation there and really wished I would have just did illustration. But
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for what I learned there because they definitely taught you how to like work a lot and like what it meant to get something done on a crazy schedule.
Mhm.
Not saying I was good at that, but it was just kind of like a quick introduction into like what the future is going to hold. No one tells you that. You're in art school in high school, and then you go to college, and not all art classes are the same. And
No.
animation just knocked my ass around. I was like, holy shit! Like the work you had to do. So
Right.
even though I just wanted to kind of illustrate, but I'm very glad I did it. Ended up doing it, but
Yeah, I got a lot out of it, but it took me a while. I think I got there too young because I came from PEI where we had, this is pre-internet, pre-anything. We didn't have access to like a lot of music
Mhm.
or anything. So anything that interested me wasn't accessible here. So
Okay.
all of a sudden I got dropped off at 18 years old in Ontario in a house by myself, and I was like, wow.
here I am. I made
Here
it.
Look at
I
this.
am.
I'm going to see Suicidal Tendencies and Megadeth. I'm
Oh my
going to
God,
see
that's
all these
amazing.
bands. Yeah, just took total advantage of that, and so I was a little slow, I think, cluing into why I was in college, and about third
Yeah.
year I figured it out. So
Yeah, halfway through my second year, I was like, enough already. I gotta get serious because it was just, it's because like I kind of met like my people there in Sheridan, and kind of really blossomed into this like, deep friendships with a lot of these guys and like stuff that I didn't have a lot in high school. So
Mhm.
because we were all artists and nerds and just kind of connected, we had the greatest time. And
Oh yeah.
and then, but yeah, around halfway through the second year, I'm like, I gotta get my shit together here. I need to get it together. And I got pretty fortunate, actually, overall.
there was a guy in our first year who was he wrote down a list about people he thought weren't going to make it, and I was on that list. So,
I like how devious this is.
I'm curious where he is on that list.
I have not seen him around, so I take a little bit of pride in that.
That is amazing. He made a list. Oh god, that's funny.
That's funny. Yeah, there are all kinds of funny egos and stuff.
The art world attracts a lot of peculiar individuals.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh-huh.
The one thing I always liked about my year was because I'm not sure if this was the same as with your year, Troy, but it was like I was straight out of high school, but I took my grade 13, so I was one of the younger ones there. But there were like I'd say 2/3 were like return students and what do you call it? People who were changing careers and stuff like that. So it really gave us like a diverse kind of impression of what could be done out there, because you had people who were like graduates of OCAD or York or U of T coming back to a college to get a better skill set that they never got, or they were like artists who, you know, maybe were like electricians, but you know, back when they went to school, it was like unheard of to be an artist, and now they were like, oh, I want to be an artist now or whatever. So it's an interesting kind of array that actually connected me with a lot of potential outside freelance, because they had more world experience, which I found kind of what do you call it, inspiring or you know, invigorating, I guess. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass now. I don't know.
No, one of the guys that I went to school with, he had gone to a university, I think, for a year ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him hit it off. We're still really good friends.
Oh, nice.
But he was so good at what he did. And it's because he kind of knew why he was there, while I was like still trying to figure it out. You know, I wasn't trying to figure it out. I was just goofing around a lot.
Yep.
And he knew why he was there, and he took advantage of it, and he got real good real fast. And
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's no surprise to me. Like, he's just excelled at everything he's ever done since then.
Yeah, I had a few. I was lucky. One of my teachers was kind of, and I think this is important for a lot of people going into school. She kind of told me, it was like, this is your place to fuck up. This is your place to experiment, screw up. Don't worry about having it be perfect. You know, this is like a sheltered environment. You worry about it being perfect when you graduate, and you start getting, you know, clients and careers and stuff like that. But right now, don't worry about it, which actually alleviated a lot of.
They should probably tell that to every student, really, because
Yeah, I mean, like,
it would be nice to hear that.
I still got great marks. I gave it my all, but I wasn't afraid to experiment and try different things. I knew, and this is kind of true. Once you embark on a career, you don't get to experiment as much as you used to, because you know, you're either locked into a style or a look, or you know, clients want a certain thing. So like your teachers are always telling you, you know, create a portfolio of your look, your style, right? And you know, sometimes, and once you do that, it's hard to change gears later on in your life into a different style, right? So,
I remember rebelling against it when they would say that. I was like, no, I want to be able to do everything.
Yeah, I know. Well, me too. Like, first portfolio I sent out had 2 different styles in it, because I was like, I can't choose one. Like, what's...
They've never seen anyone like me. Where do they get a lower me?
Exactly, right?
Oh, man. This such the ideas I had back then. Just like what I thought I was going to do, this naive kid. But I mean, I think that's good to some degree, because you're full energy and you're ready to go. But then you got to be able to transition into reality.
Yeah. One day you go, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, nobody cares about my shitty weird elf story and dragons.
No,
There's
Eric.
other versions of it out there.
They do care, Eric. They do care.
They do. They will care.
They will care.
They will care.
They will care. But no, it's school's a trip. It is.
It was fun though. I fucking loved it.
I sometimes I definitely looked into like, how can I go to like Italy to paint for a year or take a course like that? Like just take a year off, and my work would allow it too. They'd say you can take a year leave of absence if you want, you know.
Yeah, but sabbatical.
That's money and time. You know.
So what's stopping you there, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, I got an Arden to do, really.
Yeah, but you take a year off and do Arden while you're in Italy.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it. You're thinking about it.
You're not wrong, Ramon. I mean, you're not wrong. Trust me. I've thought about a lot of these things, these scenarios. But
that's my dream there. If I can draw comics and travel, I'd be, you know, I can get out of here for the winter and be like somewhere in like Spain.
Yeah.
You know,
that's one thing I'd love too. Yeah. Sound like I'm going to go to my summer home in Spain and or my winter home in Spain or the Caribbean and work from there. Which you know,
you know what, like we're all on our way to getting closer to that reality. I mean, Kickstarter is a big help. Things are working, right? Like you're setting all of us are trying to set ourselves in a position where we can get close to that. Maybe it's not a full year working from there, but maybe a month. You never know, right?
Yeah. I mean, realistically, we could. It's just really about. I don't think it's about the job, because I think any one of us right now could probably pick up our tablet, our pieces of paper, our inking tools, and go live anywhere. It's really about more the responsibility that ties us to wherever we are.
Totally.
Whether that's family, pets,
Yep.
a mortgage, whatever. That's the stuff that you got to actually
Beer.
unhook. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's the harder thing. But I mean, at the same time, I love where I am. Like, I'm sure every one of us, where we love where we live.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy.
But yeah, no, if I could like knock off a few months, and like even just if it's an Airbnb for now,
Right.
Well, I mean, we do those raid retreats as like a taste of it. You know what a taste of life of just living somewhere.
Just imagine that now for a few months.
Oh, dude, I'd be amazing.
Or you'd be broken, one or the other.
Or broken.
Where do these raid retreats happen? Where's that?
Every year we do like a bit of a creative escape. It started off with once a year we go up to Northern Ontario to the Muskokas and just rent a cottage and just kind of let loose a little bit, but we also talk shop, work on things. Everybody has their own agenda, but it's kind of like just kind of disconnecting from the norm.
Decompress.
And
That sounds awesome.
Drink poker, do some drinking, sit by the fire, just talk about
it's
art
amazing.
and
Oh my
everything.
god,
Watch movies.
that sounds great.
Well, one year, we'd like to have every year. I mean, COVID kind of prevented this the past couple of years, but what we try to do is invite a special guest every year. So maybe one year we could get you up there, Troy.
Maybe we'll be the special.
You'll be
guest.
the special. We'll just fly you in, pick you up from the airport on the way We do it twice a year now. We do one in the fall and one in the spring. So one's at Muskoka and one's at a farmhouse up in Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we just chill out, and it's great. It's a great just kind of mental break, I think.
It's so good.
But I know a lot of us look forward to it every year, just to kind of break pattern, talk about things, do things, and
It's the best.
there's no hard and
The
fast
change of scenery,
Yeah,
change of scenery is really important.
Yeah, and because sometimes it's just like I know, like Eric will go up there. Like the last time we were in the farmhouse, he was doing like a little painting study every morning, and everybody has their own like routine. Some people do nothing. Some people just like chill out and read for the week.
Tax is there, and he's like, "I'm bored."
What?
Did you bring any work? He's like, he's just sitting around. He's just drinking. He's like,
Who is
he's
this?
like, I don't want to come up here and work. I want to relax.
Well, but that's sometimes what you need, right? Like that's
Yeah.
that's and I'll be honest. That's my last couple were just that, where I was just there doing nothing, just to kind of like let my mind kind of recuperate, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty important.
I think a lot of us
Because you just don't do that. Like if you're at home, there's always something to do. If you're somewhere else out of
Exactly.
context,
At home there's like home stuff to do.
Yeah. Well, even this weekend, like I was like just cleaning shrubbery for hours.
Trimming, cutting the lawn, fixing the gardens, this and that. Looking at my sad pool that's not done yet.
Oh no! I was gonna see if I could come up for my birthday, but I guess not.
Well,
Sad,
maybe,
Ramon.
dude. When is it? In June?
Yeah.
It still might be happening. They said 1st of June will be the line will be in. The funny thing is, there's a pair of there's a mama and a daddy duck in the shitty part of the water in the bottom of the pool. They're
Really?
swimming around. I'm like, well, at least someone's using it. So.
That's awesome.
Fuck.
That's wonderful.
But yeah.
So with your Pegamoose stuff, is it something you guys try to do like a book a year, or is it just as something comes along?
It started out just as we each had a book that was like 7 years or so in progress, and we just like, we need to finish this, and nobody's going to publish it because it's just too weird. Might as well just do it ourselves. But we also thought too, like there's the Kickstarters and stuff like that were new, and we were like, well, let's just try that and see what happens, because we haven't had a whole lot of luck with seeing any royalties from anything we've ever done.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to do is give away another book. I did that a few times.
Oh, really?
It's
okay.
no return. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
I mean, it's quite prevalent in the industry. Like I always warn. I mean, I'm not saying every book will never see royalties, but like I know a lot of publishers out there will often, hold that carrot of like, we can't pay you much up front, but we can, on the
50-50
back end
in
you'll
the
get
back.
like
Maybe
30% or
exposure.
40% or whatever. But none of those books ever see that amount of enough to actually,
Yeah.
like I worked on this is to no detriment to the publisher I was with. I'm not berating them at all, but they paid me very well up front to do the it was like a kids comic, and I stopped doing that series. I did it for 7 years. It was in a monthly magazine, and it was all collected into
That's great.
into books every year. And just now, a decade later, after stopping the series, I'm seeing some royalties, but they're like $80 or like, you know what I mean? Like a few dollars here, a few dollars there. And I'm just like, it's impossible. But like you said, like you do a Kickstarter, you get the book out there, you get it to an audience, and you walk away with more money than you'll probably ever have done with a normal corporate job.
Oh yeah.
In comics, and then you now have extra books to then sell at shows or get into distribution or whatever it might be.
Yep. My first book that I had published, I got a royalty check, and it was right around my birthday at the time. So I was all excited. I opened it up, and it was $12.
Oh no! Oh man!
And it was at a time when like the Canadian dollar was like better than the American dollar, so it was actually turned out to be like $8. And so I thought, well, here's a book I spent 5 years working on that got published by a major publisher, and I got $8. What do I do with that money? My first earnings.
Buy a beer.
So I thought, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna buy the cheapest bottle of tequila I can find and chug that motherfucker. I couldn't afford that bottle. I had to actually cough up some extra change for it.
That's amazing.
Got wicked sick that night.
Oh my god!
That's amazing.
Worth it.
I think the lowest. I think it was Marvel. I could be wrong on this, but I think it was Marvel where I got my smallest royalty check, which was 75 cents on a book.
Ooh.
And I remember I was like, I got it, and I was like, I held it for 6 months because I wanted to wait till I got other royalty checks to cash it with. Like I felt that I would not go to the bank to just cash a 75-cent dollar check.
Oh my god!
It would just be embarrassing.
I would have framed that.
I know. I should have just kept it and framed it. Yeah.
Oh yes, that would have been amazing.
The career highlights. So good, so good.
Yeah, I did a Teen Titans fill-in issue many years ago, and I'm hooked up on the Warner Brothers, like the DC Comics thing, because I think they packaged all those comics into like the collected works or the graphic novels or whatever. So
Yeah.
So I think I have some royalties coming now. I hope it's more than $8, but really I don't expect much. So.
You'll be able to, you'll be able to feed those ducks.
Yes.
That's what you got. That's what you got.
Yeah, I don't know what that's gonna look like, or because I go to the portal and I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't figure it out. Yeah, there it is.
They have that weird portal.
I did that issue. That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
And they're like, "Yeah, we really like you. We're gonna get you back to do more." I was like, "Cool," and then never did. So.
Yeah, comics is a weird place. Weird place. But fun, I guess.
It is a fun place.
Oh yeah.
When you have other jobs to pay for things.
Oh, Eric, always rubbing it in with your fancy jobs.
Hey, look, I've done my time.
His 5 weeks in comics. It's like, I'm done.
That's all I needed. Going, oh shit, this is there's no money in this. Now I do it as and it's funny because now I'm returning to it as on the side. Like I love it. I've never been able to not do them though.
I think it's one thing to do your own thing, but another thing to do a corporate work, right? Like
Well, I still like if Udon ever messages me to do any Darkstalker comics or Street Fighter, I'm totally doing it because I just love that shit. I'm gonna kill myself for 4 pages or whatever, however many they are, but it's just like no, it's part of the canon. It's part of it. I'm a Capcom artist for a day.
Are you, Troy? Do you fall into that? I'm not going to call it a trap, but are you one of the guys that wants to work on certain properties? Or are you just happy to create your own stories and stuff?
If I could afford to be independently wealthy enough, I would never do anybody else's comics but my own.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, no, I want to make stories. I got stuff I want to draw, and like I said, I've been lucky. I've had projects I've enjoyed to work on, so that's made it.
Oh, for sure.
Not so bad to have to I don't want to say take a hit, but I mean, have to pay the bills somehow.
Yeah. Would you ever return to animation with your own stuff?
No, I keep getting offered, but I hate. It's not so much I hate animation. It pays 3 times this, so it's definitely not for the money. It's just because I love making comics.
Okay.
This is just the medium that I enjoy working in, storytelling.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah's asking something here. Kids comic. I looked it up and now I want to buy it for Athena. I'm not sure.
What
you guys are talking about, the kids comic. Yeah, no, I saw that part.
I have all I see is I have 75 cents to give for some art, and I'll appreciate it more than any publisher.
Maybe the comic you guys were talking about, or that Troy worked on.
Oh, you mean Angora Napkin? That one, or the current Kickstarter one?
Well, Sarah's gonna have to tell us.
Well, I don't know, Sarah. You better get back here. Out of curiosity, Troy, looking at Angora, did you do this straight?
Oh, this is it here.
Or was it?
Sorry, what's that?
Angora Napkin. Did you do that straight for print, or did you do it online first?
Well, that was a little bit of the idea that I would do it as a web comic, like a web strip. So originally I did them black and white, just with a newsprint kind of tone over it.
Oh, okay.
And when it just it stalled on hiatus for a long time, as these things do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I thought when I got to go back and finish the story, it was just for it to be an endless nameless. It was going to go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought I've been working on Angora Napkin for so long at this point. We'd made 2 books and an animated pilot for Teletoon, and this is my 3rd book. Wow. I figured if it's going to get any traction or popularity, it would have got it by now. I should just kill this thing and be done with it. So, and my co-creator, Nick Cross, he's the guy I went to college with, I was telling you about. We came up to this together when we were working in animation. Mm-hmm. We went to college together. After college, I got that animation job in Ottawa, and I called him up, and they hired him as a background designer as well.
Okay.
And Nick took to animation like it was just what he was meant to do. Guy just loves film, and he's gone on to have an incredible career as an art director at Cartoon Network on Over the Garden Wall. He's the art director on that, and he was going to be the guy who was the art director on Bone.
Oh, wow.
Before that got canned. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's this phenomenal artist. And we came up with Angora Napkin back in 1997 as, that young idea. Hey, we're working animation now. Wouldn't it be cool if we made our own cartoon? Let's just do that. And so we wrote a bunch of stories and storyboards and animatics and did all this stuff. And eventually it went nowhere. Mm-hmm. So we shelved it. And I like the characters. I like the stories. So I told Nick, I was like, hey, do you mind if I go and make some graphic novels out of these ideas?
Oh, okay.
And so he just said, yeah, go ahead. And that's kind of how that spun off into comics.
Okay. No, I'm just curious because you have a classic strip format, like the long form, Sunday Funny style.
Yeah, the other books weren't like that. They were more just graphic novels, just comic book format style.
Okay.
So, but that one was intentionally made to look like a comic strip, and the gag strips kind of worked better for the humor, I found.
Okay.
So I'm happy with how that one came out.
Nice. Okay.
And the pilot was fun to do, but it never got picked up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Brenda mentioned this last week or not, but what's after this Kickstarter?
What's after? Well, I'll be doing the day job stuff for a while, and Brenda's going to be working on her own stuff. So where I took my time to work on my own ideas, she's had an idea kicking around for a long, long time that she's going to start developing that.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
And
so something
whenever I get
really
a chance,
original.
it's definitely one of her own that she's just really get. You have these ideas that have been sitting around
Oh, yeah.
in your head for a long, long time, and then
That's
you're like,
Eric's
it's
entire
just time
life.
to do it. Yeah, it's time to do it, right?
Time to do it.
Time to
Time
do
to
it,
do it.
exactly.
So, yeah, that's where Brenda's going to head off and do that. I'm going to keep poking away at the Illusion of Life project there until I get that finished.
Yeah. Nice.
That's going to probably take longer than I'd like, but that's comics.
Is that how big of a book do you see that as?
Probably
Is
about
it-
180 pages.
Okay, that's not crazy.
It's not too bad, and I got pretty far, but I am going to go back and color the whole damn thing, so I gave myself that headache.
Yeah.
So probably a couple of years still before it actually sees anything, but we might shop it around. I'd like that book to get some good distribution, which is the one problem we can't really get with. As much as you might make more money, I can't really get the distribution figured out for.
Well, that could be something. Maybe we should talk more because we're looking into distribution for our books, and we're talking about because there's a bunch of small just banding together and creating a catalog for a distributor, whether it's Diamond, whether it's Consortium, whether it's Lunar. Like these places distribute to bookstores, comic shops, whatever. Because we have extra stock of our books. We have like 1,000 copies still sitting in our basement of, Raid 1. And obviously we want those to get into the hands of people who are going to enjoy it, become longtime readers and that sort of thing, right? Our MO here has been kind of baby steps. We're trying not to bite off more than we can chew. So it's kind of like, okay, let's just create the content first. We know we can sell it online and at shows. Especially with the Kickstarters, you're making back your overhead right away. So there's no what do you call it, worry that you're like suddenly in debt for 5 years with this $10,000 printer bill or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But now that we have back stock, we have like 6 or 7 books of back stock. That looks very good to a distributor. So we can now go, here's our back catalog, and now here's our books that we're planning for next year or the year afterwards, right? Because they work in a different time frame than comics for the most part. So
Yes.
So our whole plan is just being like, let's just small bites, not go crazy, not take bite off more than we can chew. But the whole idea is to eventually try to get some distribution, whether it is directly through a distributor or talking through another company like Dark Horse or somebody else and saying, hey, can we distribute through you? And they get a portion of the sales. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are different ways to go about it, but I think there are ways to make sure your back catalog can make you money from Kickstarter, but also that your future books can now also make you money because you've proven yourself with 3 or 4 Kickstarters or whatever it might be. And now they're like, okay, these people are, they can stick to it, if you will. And now, let's get these books to a different audience that won't find them normally, like through shows or through comic shops. So there are ways, I think. It's just talking.
Speaking
to
of the
right
logistics, because the cut that they take pretty much negates any. It just becomes, for us anyways, a way to lose money with every book sale.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Because I think our unit cost was so high.
Oh, okay.
You're losing 60% off from a Diamond's sale or sub-distributing through somebody else.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, okay. Even just shipping them down to the U.S. is going to cost.
I mean, shipping down to the U.S. isn't bad. We've done that a few times with our overstock. But yeah, obviously you have to work out the price point of your book and make sure that you're making enough off of the discounted price, so you can at least get a little bit of something. basically.
We have a loose idea that maybe like the Peg and Moose Press stuff that we do will be those kind of like really nice additions that we want to make. We know we've got enough of an audience to support that.
Yep.
And we were talking to some people who were more or less kind of implying that the sales aren't going to be so gangbusters that it would turn off a publisher. So if somebody came up and said, what have you got? And we have 5 or 6 finished books that's sold, to maybe a couple hundred people.
Yeah, well,
that's not going to really like negate it. From actually finding a larger publisher to maybe take a chance on it too.
I don't know if you
give
know.
It a second shot.
What's it? Do you know Beastlands, the comic?
Beastlands.
I'm trying to remember the artist. Omar Otis. Oh, what's his name now? I'm blanking on his name.
Sounds familiar.
I can figure it out here. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull up my email. But this is exactly what. Let's see here. Hold on a second here. Curtis Clow or Clow. I'm not sure if you pronounce that right. Anyways, Curtis Clow. He did Beastlands, 6-issue miniseries, and each one was Kickstarted. First one, I think he got 5 or 6K for the Kickstarter, and the second one, but the last one, which came out last year, he cleared I think 120K, I think, or maybe 140 on the miniseries. But he was doing one a year, so this is 6 years later, obviously.
Right.
But he announced a few months ago that now the 6-issue mini will be distributed or put out by Dark Horse, because they're as you said, they're looking for content, right? They're looking for books to put out. So he's already made his money through Kickstarter. So now he's just giving it to them, whatever deal he makes, and whatever its immediate profit at that point. Unless
the book's done.
Exactly, right? So they don't have to pay for anything. They love it because it's done. They just have to market it to make sure they make more money. So there are, definite ways around that. Like if you can make sure to, you go to a publisher and say, hey, we sold this much to an audience online, blah, blah, blah. I think it definitely sets a precedent for them to know how much they can potentially sell.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Oh, sorry, in a different market, basically.
Right. Yeah, that's a bit of the kind of background idea we have anyways. Make the stuff. That's what matters. Get it out there to some people, and then it'll find places.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
How's that page coming there? That's looking really cool, dude. You gonna get zoomed in. Can you show the camera again?
Oh, that's great. I love that first panel.
Yeah, your stuff there.
Oh,
there you go. That's awesome.
Fantastic.
It's been fun. Here I got this other one. I finished the first page there. I just jumped ahead to grab this big one, but there's another one.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
He's such a fun looking character to just go wild with, right?
You keep the panel designs like that too, eh? Like the boxes, you keep that all like that.
Yeah, I just like the kind of like rough edge boxes and stuff, instead of just a little bit more organic, just made by hand, not computer kind of feel,
Totally.
Yeah. But those boxes are made by computer, or are they not?
No, they're by hand.
Oh, they're by hand. Oh, okay, cool. Very nice.
No, I like it. It's the fun part of comics. If I had to do this all on computer, I'd be bored and it wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah.
This is what the fun is to me.
Who do you? So I'm trying to look at your style and the way you're exaggerating. Obviously, I see like a lot of like Looney Tunes and animation there. But do you have any like artists that you would cite as major inspirations or?
I mean, the artists that I like, they wouldn't look like my stuff. I don't know what, like I used to struggle with that for a long time, thinking like, what does my stuff look like? It doesn't look like anybody's. I don't know. Now I think that's more like an asset than it is
100%.
a detriment. I couldn't say it's like it's Scooby-Doo meets so-and-so. I don't know. I mean, I like Ren and Stimpy a lot, so there's a bit of that, and I'd worked with John Kay for a time on that crappy. So there's probably a little bit of that influence there. You get the ripping friends kind of muscles.
Oh yeah.
Looney Tunes were definitely my jam. Chuck Jones and could just draw such a solid looking character for a cartoon. You know, you just feel like the flesh hanging over this cartoon character.
Oh yeah.
I just always love the look and feel of those things, and they're just my favorite things ever. I like Sergio Aragonés and Sam Keith, and
Interesting. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Sergio.
and it's a lot like the stuff that I read now is like I don't say I read a whole lot now, but I mean the Tony Sandoval.
Oh yeah,
and,
Sandoval. Yeah, yeah. He's great.
I love his art. He's so great. We got to meet him in Poland. That's how I kind of discovered his work, and ever since then, I've just been hooked on his stuff. So
yeah, no, I actually met him on a Euro tour once as well. What show did you do in Poland? Was it the Warsaw Con or the Łódź?
What was the show in Poland called, Brenda? Comic Warsaw or something?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Comicsa, I don't know.
Yeah, Comicsa. Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
Brenda got invited. I just tagged along. Yeah.
No, it's a great community over there. You know, I've done I've been to Poland back a few times for comic shows, and they're just so amazing and supportive over there.
Yeah, once I have something, I definitely want to hit the European scene.
Oh yeah,
I just need to have something. I can't go over there with Capcom artwork. Like, come on.
No, I mean, but it's also very different over there. It's very publisher driven. Like you, I mean, there are introducing Artist Alley. I think they're more and more. But a lot of their shows are just big publisher booths and different things. But the community there is so
great.
fascinating.
I love going to the overseas shows. I mean, that's one thing that I guess we're looking forward to someday when the responsibilities of parenting are a little lighter, that you can actually go and do those cool overseas shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Right now we have to tag team a lot. So Brenda did like Calgary Expo, and we'll do TCAF together. But then she's going to do Toronto, I think, and I'll go down to San Diego and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. You do
so
San
we just
Diego
tag
regularly?
off a lot. No, I've been there since 2016.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm
in the work mode, I guess, and promote mode, so I haven't done a lot of promotion there when the Rick and Morty Dungeons and Dragons stuff happened. It kind of happened over the pandemic.
Are you do you table there, or do you just kind of hang out with the publisher, or?
The one time I tabled there, it sucked, and I won't do that again.
Yeah.
Our
Sally there was pretty sad, from what I remember.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I had great times there because Udon had like a Capcom booth there, and so we were Capcom artists there. So like we had constant people coming buying our prints and getting sketches. And then my buddy Alvin Lee, who was sitting in the artist alley, he had obviously a fan following, so he did okay, I think. But I think even he said, "Yeah, fuck this."
No, it was just like I remember the artist alley back then. It was like it just seemed like this sad little corner of leftover tables. I don't know. It just seemed like
I think a lot of people who buy a table there just sit on it. So it's like I can go away for 10 years, come back, and the same people are just sitting at the same booth space with the
very
same
weird
stuff. Yeah, so I'm just happy to go and kind of like piggyback on a few signings with IDW or Oni or somebody like that, and then just go around and hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, no, rightfully so.
Yeah, I miss going down there. It's always good times. But I want to go back to Chicago.
Well, that's a great show. I love Chicago.
Just trying to think if I can go this year. I don't see it happening.
Totally can.
I know you want to come, but we'll see.
Ramon, give you permission.
It's a weekend. Come on.
We could even drive there.
We could a little road trip. Chicago
Road trip in my truck.
There you go. See, it's all happening. It's fine.
We'll see.
Well, fine, Eric.
Boss.
Excuse me.
So I asked Brenda this: what if there's anything you could tell your younger self now that you're in your older age, your young up and coming artist? Any advice that you'd give him, little Troy,
or them, or little Troy?
Oh boy, I don't know. The best advice I got, I think, was when I was in college. seeing a lot of the other people who were doing a lot better than me because I was goofing off. I had one of the teachers kind of like take me aside in third year and said like, so let me guess. And she had me pegged totally. Like, you were the best artist in your school, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, and you think you got nothing to learn here? I'm like, well, no. And my whole internal narrative started falling apart. And she's like, so I don't care if you pass or not. Like, why are you spending your money here if you feel you've got nothing to learn? And I went, oh, for some reason a light bulb went off then. And I'm like, crap, I've wasted 2 years. To like catch up now.
And this was at Sheridan?
Yeah.
Do you remember the teacher's name out of curiosity?
Lorraine.
Oh, Lorraine.
Hello, Lorraine.
That was the same teacher that the story I told you earlier about. Like she told me to fuck around and just let loose. That was
I was wondering if that was her or not.
She was like that. That woman had it like I held her in such high regard because like, not only was her skill set, but she was just like, this is how it is and this is how it's gonna be. And you were like, fuck, you're right.
I learned that a little bit. I was a bit slow for that. Like I wasn't quite ready, I think, to be there. And that, I think, solidified that. I'm like, oh, crap, you're right, you know? Yeah. What am I doing here? I'm not doing what I should be doing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Sometimes you just kind of, like, have to live through an experience to, like...
For sure.
Make sense of things.
Yeah.
And then I've always felt like I've been playing catch-up ever since then, you know? Like, I never really feel like I took advantage of that time, like you were saying, where you can fuck around.
Yeah. Well, I
didn't do that. I went right into the workforce.
I think also, you know, I think this is even harder. I can't even imagine being an up-and-coming artist these days where, because at least when we had these, like, our own little bubbles to a degree, like, you didn't really see all the competition. You just saw who was in your class and maybe who you saw published, but now, or you go to a con, but now you see everybody online. And while it's inspiring, it's also I can't imagine it being like also just overwhelmingly intimidating as well, right? And just but I think the one thing I learned, because you know, you were saying you were like you feeling like you're behind or you're missing out on something. It's like I think the one thing I told myself eventually was like stop comparing myself to other people's timelines. Yeah. And just take it at my own pace. Like I always jokingly say I'm 10 years behind in my own race, but I'm like, I'm enjoying my pace at this point. You know, I have no complaints. You know, there's been a few fun detours along the way career-wise, but at the end of the day, do I regret taking a 10-year break from, you know, doing my own stuff? Yeah, a little bit, but I also did some amazing stuff with other creators, right? So I can't begrudge, you know, that experience because it brings so much to the table for now when I'm jumping into the other stuff I'm doing. So I think there's, you know, just something to be said for just, you know, enjoy the ride and don't overthink it sometimes. You know, like...
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you're doing such cool stuff now, like, maybe that stuff wouldn't have happened if you'd actually, you know, gone the other way, you know?
Yeah.
Everything
I
informs
kind of just
everything.
trust things happen. Things will work out, you know? It's kind of...
I know that sounds like...
make a plan. Yeah.
I know that sounds silly sometimes, but yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just gotta trust the whole thing is gonna just play out the way it's supposed to play out, you know?
Yeah, one of my kids there, she says, trust the process. I'm like, how'd you get wise? What's that?
Exactly.
And now she loves the fact that I quote her all the time.
Clearly she has wise parents.
But actually those are really good words. There's a lot of times I'm in the middle of something going, this is garbage. But I'm like, nope, see it through because you know you're going to finish it and you're going to like it. But the journey there is sometimes so embarrassing and hard.
I bet you even Michelangelo was like painted the Sistine Chapel was like, fuck, that sucks. I hate it. You know.
Look at that foot I drew.
Yeah, I know. God damn it, I screwed up that face again. Oh, man, I suck at babies.
My previous Jesus was way better.
Totally bet. I bet you they're all like just like anxiety-ridden artists, just like the rest of us.
Oh yeah.
Oh, probably. Yeah. They're gonna see that I'm a fraud.
Leonardo's totally gonna like fucking figure me out. Oh man.
Are we comparing ourselves to Leonardo da Vinci?
Yeah, you know, whatever. Eric.
DiCaprio. No, just
Pretty much.
DiCaprio.
Just saying. I was comparing myself to the turtles, not the artist.
All right.
That's right.
Right.
There you go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I've had too many like cool experiences in comics by not really having a plan.
Mm-hmm.
That I just kind of like trust that cool shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think you have to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean the whole like Fear and Loathing coming out of nowhere was just an email, you know, like, hey, like really like what you're doing with the Powerpuff Girls, you know. By the way, do you want to pitch a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas graphic
That's amazing.
novel?
You're like, okay, sure.
And then like after that, I of course said to the publisher as a like a little bit of a joke, but not really a joke. You know, when this book comes out, you should fly me down to LA with a red convertible and like Singapore slings, mescal on the side, the Beverly Hills Polo Lounge.
Yeah.
And I'll dress like Hunter Thompson, and we'll have a convertible. We'll do a book tour. And they said, yeah. So I did that, and that was like, yeah. Dirk Wood shows up at the airport to pick me up in a red convertible. I'm dressed like Hunter Thompson, and yeah, I mean, we went and did this big press tour at one time through
That's amazing.
hitting all the spots like Hunter Thompson went.
That's amazing.
And then while I'm at it, the IDW is like had a signing in an art gallery show of the artwork from the book there.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, you mind if Kevin Eastman signs with you? And I've never met Kevin before. I'm like, I grew up with, you know, Mirage Studios, Ninja Turtles, drawing that stuff in my art classes in high school.
Yeah.
Like, do I mind if Kevin Eastman signs with me?
Wow.
So, yeah, and then that turned into like, wow, now I've done work with Kevin. We draw comics together and stuff. I'm like, this is
amazing.
Bizarre. So now I just give up all control and like cool stuff happens.
Sometimes you
trust the process. Yeah.
Trust the process.
Yeah. Set the sails and let the wind take you where it goes, basically.
Yep.
You know.
It's been good.
Well, that's amazing. That is amazing. So all these questions you keep throwing at people, Eric, what advice would you give your younger self there?
Who, me? I'm the interviewer.
Tables have been turned.
Tables have been turned.
Oh, man, I think I would have just been like, don't worry about trying to find a style. You already have it.
Yeah.
And just fucking keep working and don't expect anything. Come on. You gotta earn it. Just work harder. And, yeah, I think it's a lot of those things still pop in my head from time to time.
Yeah.
I think those are some big ones. Like, yeah.
I think as artists, we never stop really growing. I think, you know, whether stylistically or career-wise, there's always new and interesting things kind of popping up, right?
I can't imagine like retiring. So this is just.
Yeah.
I have friends with real jobs who like retire and they look forward to that. I'm like, what would I do?
Yeah.
I'm not wanting to stop doing this.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I get made fun of a lot by for like, you just work too much. You're like, you can never stop. I'm like, yeah, even if I retire, I'd probably like be like the first month I'd probably, you know, chill out. And I'd be like, okay, I gotta do something. What am I doing? Am I building a log cabin? Am I drawing a comic book? Like, what's on the agenda here, people? Because, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to hire Miyazaki this all the way to the grave.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like the moment some of us, like, stop, that's almost like death. It's like,
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, I even look at my parents, like, the day my dad stopped, you could see him age 10 times as fast.
Yep.
You know? And obviously sometimes, you know, you can't continue on, whether it's physicality or whatever, but, you know, if you can, I think, you know, you jokingly say, you know, die at the drawing table, but, you know, I think a lot of the greats do because they just love what they do so much, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's how I want to go.
Under deadline. I'm just kidding.
Not a deadline. Just
No,
making
I
my
know.
own shit. I want to make my own shit. By then, I hope I am.
Yeah, same. See aim. Oh man. Well, we're clocking in at here almost 2 hours. We're almost at 10 o'clock.
Oh man.
Time has flown tonight.
Jeez, I'm not drinking enough wine.
You had the opportunity. You could have drank more.
Forgetting
wine.
about my beverages.
Oh man.
When is this project due for you? Right.
The one I'm working on here right now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I guess.
I'm poking away at this, and I'm way early on it. Mostly, I kind of want to get back to my own stuff, and so anything that I have due for anybody else, I just want to make sure
Get
I'm
it off the table.
getting it done,
Yeah.
get it off the table, and get it so I don't have to think about it anymore because it just takes up brain space.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of in that position right now where I got a billion things I said yes to, and I'm like, why did I do that?
Sounded good at the time, yeah.
Yeah, it sounded good at the time. It's only 2 pages. What was that?
Yeah, it's 2 pages.
But yeah, those 2 pages eat up a lot more time than you think sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it gets done. I think sometimes the hardest thing as an artist, I think, is learning to say no.
It's a great skill to have. There's always other projects. There's always other things. You're never going to be out of work. You eventually going to find out that it's going to be okay.
It's so true. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, well, you got, I guess, 9 days left on your Kickstarter, so we have in the credits below for those who can check it out. There's a link there. There's also a link at the end of this episode via QR code to your website and your link tree, which has links to all your art and.
Well, yeah. What are you most active on? Twitter or Instagram, Facebook or MySpace?
MySpace.
Oh man, active. I don't know. I tried to throw something on everything. What do I enjoy the most? None of it. Instagram, I guess. I loathe so much social media. I wish I didn't have to use it. But it's a necessary evil for us.
Yeah, it's funny how it's become so ingrained in the tapestry of what we do. Like, but it's like 10 years ago, you didn't have to do any of it. It was just like you drew the book, you put the book out. Oh man, so weird.
Yeah. I like Instagram because I can look at other people's art. I just find all kinds of cool stuff on there, and I'm just blown away and constantly inspired, and it's just showing me books I want to find, and I'm waiting for them to get translations in English so I can get them, all these cool European comics and Belgian comics.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
so good. Is there so what you kind of
so excited about that?
You mentioned some shows. The next show you'll be attending is
TCAF.
TCAF will be the next show we're at. Yep. Both me and Brenda. We got a space down on the main floor, so we'll be just bringing our Pegamy stuff and leaving all of our licensed stuff at home for this show because TCAF.
Yeah, it's your own.
And
after
shit. That, I think, that's it. We're bringing our own stuff for that show. San Diego, I'm just going to pop around. Brenda might be doing Toronto Expo. Decaf out here in Halifax is the Dartmouth Comic Art Festival, a little one-day show that Cal puts on from Strange Adventures.
When is that?
That's in August, 21st maybe or something like that. Yeah. And Granite City Con, I got a show down in New Hampshire with like Eastman and the Turtle guys there.
Wow.
A lot of the guys are going to be down for that, so it'll be good because I haven't actually seen a few of the guys I've been working with before on the Drawing Blood series and the Ron and Ryan.
Okay.
Dolls. So get to actually hang out and meet some of the other creatives on that series.
Yeah, I think we should do some smaller shows, Ramon. That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, I love doing smaller shows. Well, the Comic Expo we're doing in Comic Crossroads in the fall. That's I think it's a smaller show. I think gaining footing, but it's very much a TCAF centric show, kind of created by Jeff Smith and a few other individuals apparently. But looking forward to that, and I'm always up for smaller shows. They're fun. They're more engaging sometimes. You don't get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, totally.
Like a big show, I always jokingly say, but it's not really jokingly, but it's true. Like New York is one of my worst shows. I'm just like, because you're like 1 in a million people. But if I do like a small little tiny show in whether it's HalCon out east or a small show in Florida or somewhere in Europe, I'll often do 10 times better and have way more fun. And oftentimes my favorite part is with smaller shows, you just meet so many more people, like artists, especially creators, where they're, because you're such a small crew, you just end up hanging out together and going for drinks, dinner, whatever it is, right? And that is just such a blessing for a lot of the smaller shows, I find.
That's right.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely put
That's
some on our
what
agenda.
we enjoy as well,
Yeah,
100%.
Cool.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you here in about 4 weeks.
Nice to meet you, Troy, and talk with you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, it's good to meet you as well. This is great, and thank you for having both me and Brenda on there and hogging your airtime.
Pleasure, great. And good luck with the last week of the Kickstarter. I hope another 10 or 20K comes your way. You never know what the last week is like. That funding curve can kind of go whoop. So let's hope for the best. We'll keep.
Yeah, there's a lot of watchers. I hope those watchers I hope turn into last minute panic buyers.
Exactly. That's the hope, right? So best of luck with that. And in 4 weeks, hopefully we can maybe share a drink in person and or dinner or something. And we'll have a good time.
And thanks everyone who came to the show again. Sarah, as always.
It's good. Well, it's a good time to be out in the Maritimes.
Oh yeah, we'll be out there too. Hopefully end of June, July. Go say hi. All right, man.
If we're down there, I'll give you a shout. Take us out. Tell us where to go anyway, or to show us like some. You said lobster. I'm like, oh, I'm in.
All right, everybody. Everybody, keep making shit.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Cheers and go Leafs. All right.
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Woo.
Nice. That's fantastic.